Welcome to Flatbroke Garage. I'm Bill, and this is literally the worst 1968 Mustang in existence. Let me show you what we got here. This was indeed a 1968 Mustang convertible. Power disc brakes, power steering, air conditioning, the 289. This car had it all till it hit something. This car's going to live on in two other cars. The reason I got this was it's going to go to scrap, and it is the power disc brake car, so it has power disc brakes. My 1971 Torino GT was a drum brake car. I don't know why, but it was. So I need a set of disc brakes. There they lie. And Ashley's Mustang was originally a power steering car. There's power steering. So what I basically am planning on doing is I'm going to take the disc brakes off. My buddy Russ from Hot Rod Guy Garage, he needs control arms, springs, all kinds of stuff to make his car a roller. So I'm going to help him out, and we're going to try and just cut this car in half and get this thing so I can take it home. So my plan is to basically kind of harvest off what's left of the car. There's a steering column in here too. We might grab that, but like I said, we're just going to kind of cut the car off here and maybe take the parts with me, unless I can get the parts off here. I don't know, we'll see. I'm also planning on helping my buddy Russ out. He needs a rear end and springs for his 1966 Mustang project. And here's another car that's gonna end up going to scrap, and it is a 1975 Maverick 4-door. It has a rear end that will fit under a 66 Mustang. So yeah, we're gonna be picking some parts today. So here's my game plan. So I'm gonna pull the hinges off, and we're gonna take the Sawzall hopefully and just kind of cut the car right in half. Should work. And then we'll just pick this up and put it on my truck so I can take it apart at my shop where the torch lives, because working out here is kind of rustic. Well, I got the hood hinges off, so now we're just going to kind of make an incision down the side of the car, and hopefully on the other side of the car we'll just take it off, right? Easy peasy. There we go, it cut right through it. I mean, the car is pretty rusty, but I bet it only took me about 2 minutes with an old blade. So I have to disconnect the steering on this side, and we'll just zap through that so I can get this loaded up. Buddy Steve's awesome, man. He just takes time out of the day to come help me after setting me up with these cars too. This is great. Feet laying on the ground. Well, there you have it. We got my hunk of Mustang home in the back of my Chevy truck. And we're going to start pulling it apart. Going to pull, like I said, A-arms, steering, get all this stuff off. I'm keeping the disc brakes and the power steering, where I will give him the manual steering gearbox off this Mustang, so he'll have some steering too. Because I'm taking the spindles with the disc brakes, he'll be short spindles, but I have the V8 drum brake spindles. So I'll give those to Russ so he's got some, you know, something to put on. That's the Mustang transmission. That's all rebuilt, ready to go. I got him some hood hinges. I got a bunch of other Mustang stuff somewhere in there. Hopefully it comes apart, but the reason I did it at my shop was I have torches and these look a little rough. We might just whack and cut them off, but you know, it's just easier to do in my own shop. So, all right, let's get it apart. Got it. Save them all these nuts and bolts. These are carriage bolts that hold on these shock tower pieces. So what I did was I cleaned these threads up as best I could. There's really not a lot of room to get a wheel in there, but got them cleaned up. They're kind of beat, but I'm going to heat these up red hot and set all this rubber on fire and try and run these things off. I mean, like I said, they're just usable for them to make a roller car, but that sucks. Well, it appears my gas is running out, so we may have to go with a plan B. Let's see if that was a little bit of gas. It was enough to get it hot enough to get this thing off. Awesome. So what I'm doing is using my new winch. Used it a couple times already, but I slid this to the back of the truck and got it so the tire dropped off. Got the tire out. I'm soaking the spindle nuts, the PB blaster, and I'm going to start taking the spindles off. I'm going to save this proportioning valve, and I'm saving this power steering gearbox for me. So that's pretty crusty. I'm going to let it soak a bit, but then like I said, we'll just try and get all this apart. One, I'm going to get it out. Success. But for the most part, it's all apart, and that's good. I'm going to go give this to my buddy Russ. I got Mustang parts.
Yeah, it's cold today, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, we got parts.
Yeah.
To get this Mustang sitting on the ground. For everybody that hasn't seen his channel, it's my buddy Russ, Hot Rod Guy Garage. Definitely check him out. I'll put a link in the thing, and that little thing's going to pop up.
We're going to work on another 66 Mustang video, so he brought us some junk.
I did. It's pure junk, 100% junk, but it'll make it easier to move around. It'll be like a wheelbarrow Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do have a rear end. We will get it out for you, but you know, it's how we do it. One guy helps another guy out. You know, I'm giving him parts. He's giving me parts. I'm flat broke, and you know.
Yeah.
He's making sure that I stay flat broke.
Yeah. I'm not much better either.
So well, we'll get this junk unloaded, and he'll show you what he's got.
Yep.
Well, there we go. More junk unloaded. It's not at my house anymore. It's all yours. Yeah. More junk. Can you believe how rotted out this thing is? We ran the VIN numbers on this car, and this came out to be a 1968 convertible GT. This was an S code. So this car had a 390 in it, man. Can you believe that? So it was a rare car, but you know, there's no fixing that unless you're that graveyard guy on that fake cable channel. They'd fix that.
Buy a repop body shell.
Yeah.
And then it's still not the same car.
Yeah, and then just put a tag on it.
Yeah.
So, but you know, you got you know, parts.
Good enough pieces, might be able to stick a front end back up under it.
And like I said, we'll get you a rear end, and you can have a full solid roller then.
Yeah.
So let me show you what I'm going to get trade for. He's got some cool stuff for trade. Gave me some parts for my Torino up here. Then look what he's got. A 70 Torino GT Fastback. It has some stuff I might need for the Falcon and for my Torino. Primarily, it has a windshield. I know they sell new windshields, but remember the name of the channel you're watching, Flatbroke. But this windshield's pretty good. It's less bad, because I don't even have one. And it's got a couple good floor pieces for the Falcon 2.0. So we got that, and, you know, some other little doodads we might come across. But that's how it works. Give and take, man. So, oh, I got hood hinges for you, too.
Oh, yeah.
Did I bring those? All right, now I'm back from Russ's. It's time for me to concentrate on my parts. So I did pick up those disc brake spindles and a power steering off the Mustang. The power steering is going to go on my daughter Ashley's car. If you haven't been watching the videos, she's got a 68 Mustang that we're going to add power steering to because it was a power steering car. The disc brakes, they're going to go on this. My 71 Ford Torino GT. Now GTs usually came with disc brakes. I don't know why this one has drum, but whatever. So I'm going to update everything. We're going to get new upper lower control arms, shocks, ball joints, tie rod ends, and disc brakes. This is what we got. They should fit. These are 68 GT Mustang calipers and spindles. Take those apart, see if we can save those rotors. I ordered some new calipers and lines and stuff. All right, well, I got it up in the vise, and it's been quite a while since I've done the early Ford disc brakes. I believe these are keepers. I'll have to look. They get little nuts or bolts that run through there that hold this pad onto the caliper. It's loose, so, I mean, geez, they just fall off, so. I don't know, maybe they hold it on while you put it on. Like I said, it's been a while, so let's get this thing pulled apart, see if we can clean this rotor up, get some calipers, and clean this baby up, make her look new. So these bolts on this caliper, they're almost like it's almost like a GM style type caliper that Ford used. After this, they went to like a wedge type thing where they drove a wedge in here to put them in, and then just like a set screw. So this is definitely an earlier type caliper. right, well, I got the rotor off, and you can see the pads are really nice. They're like new. Well, they were new at one time, but I mean, they're in pretty good shape. And there's brake fluid in this caliper still. Like keepers that hold this pad on, I think. I don't remember that. Do you guys remember this system? I don't put it down there in the comments. Yeah, that's kind of hokey. I don't know if these come with new brake pads or what the deal is, but well, I should save them or not. I don't even know why you'd need them. You think it just hold them on. Unless those pins are on the pad. Yeah, see, they get little grooves. You can see that. That one's loose. So, see if that thing taps off. What's on there? That pin is holding it. Well, there we go. It's out. And get it to focus. I don't remember those pins. Goes in this hole here. So, I got my caliper cores off to O'Reilly's. They ordered those a couple days ago when I came home with this, and go pick them up. Gonna clean the rotor up. Like I said, I got a brake lathe. Gonna see if we can rescue those. I got pads coming, although these might clean up. Got the little squeaker gauge there. So, I don't know. We'll clean these up and get them all, put them over on the Torino. I'm really happy I got my Anco brake lathe here. Picked this up from a buddy of mine, and these things are antiques. Not many people even use them anymore because the price of rotors are so cheap. But I like it because I do a lot of rotors and drums. Yeah, get this thing in here to fit. I think I got the right collars on, but there we go. Yeah, these things are convenient to have. I mean, there's no real reason to own one other than it's kind of nice. If you go to O'Reilly's now, they charge you like $25 to $30 to cut one of these rotors. And you can go get one made in India or Pakistan or something for like $35. So it's like most people don't even have it done unless you got like a Super Duty truck or something. Let's see, kick these back. These are your cutting edges. You dial these back, turn it on, see if it's running true. We can turn it on. We do a test here just to see how much wobble we got in it. I think we're in pretty good shape. It's got a little warp to it, but it's not horrible. It's not going like this. So, shut it off, and they got one of these leather elastic belts. These are chatter belts. These stop them from chattering when cutting edges are on them. And this thing's getting old. You need a new one. But you just basically hook it on here so it doesn't hit the cutting edge. And you dial yourself all the way into zero here, all the way into the rotor. I have a little spinner knob for this, and I lost it. My buddy gave it to me when he first gave me this. So I'll turn her on. You loosen this up. You just bring it in just so it touches. There we go, and you tighten, lock that on. And the same thing with the back side. Now I gotta come in a bit because, there we go, we're not touching. All right, we lock that. And you set these dials to 0. What you want to do is just take a couple thousandths off every pass. So now we got her all set. We pop her in gear. And this will make a fast pass on here. And we just keep cutting on it till we get a clean surface, and then we dial her down to the last pass, which is a slower pass. Makes it clean. So cue the time lapse. Now I got most of the cutting done, so I dropped back and I set it in like low range. It's turning a lot slower now, and that's going to give me my finished cut. You can start seeing the difference between the cuts, and that'll give you a lot finer finish. Well, there we have it. Finished rotor. You gotta take a wire wheel, clean all this up, kind of clean these threads up, get this set. I'm going to get the other one cut, and then we're going to get these shields and spindles cleaned up. They actually had some grease in these bearings yet, so not too horrible. But I'll get these painted up and get my new calipers and brake pads, and we'll get them tossed on the old Torino over here. Looking forward to this. While cleaning these spindles off, I noticed the part number. And regular Ford guys will know DZ. D stands for the decade, the 1 stands for a number. Where like 60s is C, 70s is D. So this is a 71 spindle. So I punched a part number in, and this spindle is actually for a 1971 Mustang or Torino. So somewhere down the lines, somebody put disc brakes or changed spindles on that Mustang. So this works out perfect. I actually have the legit spindles that are supposed to be on the car. I thought they were going to be like, 68. So sweet. I win. That's cool. So I picked up my calipers and brake pads, and to my surprise, these things are really complete. They have everything. They have the shields on them, and they come with brand new bolts that hold the caliper on, and even this goofy little pinned hardware that hold the pads on. So, and these were only $33 at O'Reilly's. So that's a smoking deal. I just got the factory lower control arms, upper control arms. I mean, I'm not going crazy. I'm not racing this thing. I just want it to be a dependable, drivable car. And I'm going to start putting the left side of this car together. I got the parts painted. The spindle painted, shield painted, thing holder down there painted. So I'm going to work on getting this side up, getting the spring out, and get everything swapped around. So here we are, the next day. Took a little time yesterday and kind of got everything painted, the dust shield and the spindle, and I even put a little clear coat on the calipers because they're the first thing that rust. But before I get to that, I got a package in the mail from a subscriber who watched a video on the Falcarino 2.0, the two-door Falcon I just rescued. And he saw I was having problems trying to find a good 2-barrel Ford carburetor. I ended up going to Amazon and buying one. But he contacted me, and he said he had a 2-barrel carburetor, said didn't have a choke, but I was more than welcome to it. So he packed it up and shipped it to me. Look at this thing. He said it was like new, and I would say this is pretty much like new. Now he said it didn't have a choke, but I got choke stuff. And yeah, this is cool. I think this is Ford, an actual Ford one. I don't know. But anyways, Brian Bloom of Connecticut, thank you so much. I'm going to send you something in the mail, you know, a little Flatbroke Garage packet, and I appreciate it. You guys blow me away by your generosity and kind comments. You know, that's pretty cool. So anyways, we're going to get this side of the car apart. I had a couple snafus. When I ordered the shock absorbers and the radius arm bushings, these things here go on the end of the radius arms, I don't know what I was thinking, but I had 68 Mustang in my little Rock Auto order thing. I ended up with 68 Mustang shocks and 68-ish Mustang radius arm bushings. These are too small. They won't fit over the Torino radius arms, and the shocks are totally different. But we're gonna trundle ahead. So I'm gonna get all the heavy lifting done. We're gonna get all the front end pieces on, the caliper on, and get it mounted up. So maybe by the time we get this assembled, the parts will show up, but we're getting close to Christmas and shipping's getting slow. So let's just get this together and see where we get. So I got the car up in the air. I got my bumper jack or whatever, airlift, holding it up. So I don't need jack stands because this thing is like a car hoist. It actually has a lock on it. So it just locks out and holds the car up, which is kind of cool because jack stands are just kind of be in the way. So first thing I got to do is pull this shock tower off, or shock and shock tower off, and this coil spring cover. Then we can get the Widowmaker spring compressor in there, compress that spring up, and yeah. I do have all brand new steering components coming, tie rod ends, sleeves, adjusters. All of this is new. I'm going to end up with a Borgeson power steering unit I'm putting in. So I'm not really worried about this stuff right now. All I really need is the drag link, and I put another end on it. But those should be coming too. I ordered all that. Well, now that I got the coil cover off, you can see it's a good thing I did get it off. I'm getting all this stuff cleaned up, because if you've been watching the series on this car, I bought this car as a project somebody gave up on. And you know, there's stuff I missed, there's stuff the other people missed. This car was media blasted, and there's still whatever shells or whatever junk is still coming out of this. So I'm going to take this opportunity, clean all this up, get this painted. And good thing I noticed all this, because this is just going to be rust. So here comes the fun part. I got the Widowmaker spring compressor, and for these Fords, you drop them down on the inside, and you put an impact gun in there, and you squeeze it together, and hopefully you don't die. So we'll let the camera take one for the team if it comes out the side, and let's try and get this thing hooked in here and see if I can get this spring out. I gotta shorten it up a bit. Maybe. Things are kind of a pain to get in here. Let's get this dropped in.
A few moments later.
I gotta get this one up here. Alright, I'm gonna stand out of the way and start cinching this thing down. Jumped off. What the heck? Well, kind of run out of options. going to show you something. I'm not proud of it. I'm not. And don't do this at home. But I'm kind of in a bind. To get these spring compressors in, it's kind of nice to have the car sit at curb weight. So you got a load on the coil spring, so the spring is already kind of pre-compressed. Well, I have no engine or transmission, fenders. I mean, the car is too light in the front and I can't get a good curb weight on it. So let me show you what I did. Don't do this at home. I took my outside spring compressors to kind of set it at curb weight so I could get my inside, the correct spring compressor, in here. So now what I'm going to do is tighten it down. I don't even know if I'm going to take these off, because if you've ever been hit by a coil spring, it's like getting punched by Tyson. You don't want that. So we're going to set the camera up and we're going to wind this down, see if we can pop this thing out. I'm getting out of the way. These can come off. Oh, are they stuck on here now? What you need to do is, the spring sits in a saddle. See it back here? If I can get a pry bar in there, pop that up without getting killed. I don't know. Let me get these things off. I'm doing this wrong. I know somebody's done this a million times, is watching and saying, I'm going to die and I'm going to deserve what I get. But, dang. Dang, it's like a time bomb. Well, I got it out of the saddle. There we go. Dang, I'm afraid of these things. Woo! Yeah. Now we're just going to set that down real gentle like. Well, that was about a 9 on the tension level there, but you know, it's out. So now we can pull the upper control arm and the lower control arm bolts. And this whole shooting match should just come off. Now all I have left to do is take the nut off the back of this cam bolt. Now these cam bolts are how you adjust your camber and caster. You loosen this up and you put a wrench on here and you spin this cam and it slides the control arm, lower control arm out or in your caster or camber. So if I pull this nut off and get this bolt out, making reference for where it sits now, because I'm not going to be able to align this car till I get an engine and trans in it. But if I put it back to roughly where it was, I know it should be close. So I get that bolt out, and then there's these two upper control arm bolts or nuts. Take these off, and that whole package should just come right off. Because I'm not going to be using any of this. So 3 bolts, pry bar, pop off, we'll see. That came out nice. And there you can kind of see how that cam works. Kind of cool. What the heck is that? Oh, broken piece of plastic. I have to get this radius arm off. I got the nuts off. There we go. And now this should just slide out. Ta-da. And that's how we do it. One big chunk. I'll keep these around for something else, but you know, they're not horribly wore out, but I don't know, maybe new is better. Finish cleaning all this stuff up and give it some paint and start assembly. All right, we're back in the shop. I got in here a little bit early. I got inside that shock tower cleaned up and painted. So we're ready to start assembly on getting this front end back together. Should go smooth, everything's new, but I'm still a little worried about the old IED, the coil springs, but we'll just take our time and get them in there. So all my new tie rod parts came in. So I put a tie rod together and I basically assembled it to the same length that the other one was. Like I said, it's hard to get a measurement or an alignment without any weight in the front of the car. So I'm just kind of putting everything back to where it was. So I got that hanging on here. Got our lower control arm. And I'm trying to weasel this up here. Let's see. Put my bolt. Got the cam bolt here. Yeah. I'm putting anti-seize on basically all these adjusting parts here because you never know. So it just makes it easier to adjust. See if I can get this in here. Use a line-up pin. It's a lot better than putting your finger in. And my phone always rings when I'm laying on the floor. Oh, it's my son. I gotta take this. Oh, it's nice. My son called. I guess that's why a lot of times I don't get a lot of my car stuff done. I know I got a bunch of my buddies say, hey, you gotta get going on your cars. Well, in the big picture, to me, they're just cars, you know? Not to sound corny or anything, but my kids and Mrs. Flatbroke Garage, they mean the world to me. And I got a huge life outside of doing this. This is to give Miss Flatbroke Garage some space away from me. No, corny moment from Flatbroke Garage. But yeah, I mean, now that I'm off the phone, when I was on the phone, I was kind of chatting and laying on the creeper thing here. And I got the bolt in for the lower control arm, and I just kind of loosely attached the radius arm. So I'm going to get the upper control arm on, and then we're going to try and get this spring in here. This should be fun. I got the IED all loaded up and ready to explode at a moment's notice. This time I centered it up a little better so it wasn't kind of bending it on a wonky angle. So I'm going to try and slide it in there. Oof. Alright, well, spring is in here. It's up against the back of the perch. I didn't put the spindle on because I figured I should be able to get the spindle on while I'm still holding tension. I should have enough room for movement. Then I get all that secured, and then we'll just let the firecracker go. Oh, that's a good sign. Nice. Get the tie rod on it. And we'll let La Bamba go. Man. There we go. Get the tie rod on it just in case. Let's have everything all kind of buttoned up. everything's stiff. Nice part about having everything new, it sure is stiff. There we go. I got a new rubber grommet up here. I forgot to get them for the bottom, but I'm just going to reuse what I have. I know, Flatbroke Garage. I'm going to reuse that. And I think I should be able to let pressure off on this thing. And its spring should seat itself. Like I said, the end of the spring is in the saddle up against the stop. So as long as it stays there, let pressure off, it should seat itself back up in there, theoretically. I don't know where that washer came from. One down, one to go. Another town and one more show. Probably get a copyright claim for that. So there we go. We're gonna fish this thing out of here. All right, I got that, whatever you call it, spring cover bolted back on. I got the bearing cleaned up, re-greased, new seal, and I used the original bearings, made in America. I seem to have a lot better luck with 50-year-old American-made bearings than I do brand new China bearings. Tell you what, it's just, the bearings cleaned up, they look good, didn't have any wear in them. I'm using them. Way better way to go. So, I'm happy this side is done. All I got to do is get that caliper on, and I'm still waiting for brake lines and shock absorbers. Like I had mentioned earlier, it was all on my part. I ordered for a 66 Mustang or what, I punched in the wrong car in Rock Auto, blah, 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 but I did it wrong. It was my fault. I'm going to find my channel locks. Tighten that down, but we get some channel locks. I get this tightened down, get a cap on here, and we'll get the caliper on. All right, so this is interesting. With the calipers, I get the kit with the squeaker, the noisemakers, and the things to hold the pad on. The pads I get don't have holes in them. They do have holes in the back of the pad. I don't know if you need to drill those out, or we could put it on just like that. I don't know. I guess what I'm asking is, I'm asking you guys, have you run into this before? Do we need these little nuts and bolts or whatever, these clips and pins holding this on, or is this just for ease of installation? Put it down there in the comments. I'm not going to drill these out. I'm just going to see if it'll go together like this, because like I said, I'm still waiting on a brake line, and you know, I don't want to ruin these. So we'll get this caliper mounted and go from there, I guess. I disconnected the tie rod just for easy filming purposes, but there are stops on this pad, so I don't think I need these little pins. I don't know, because like I said, there's stops here to keep the pad from moving that way. So, I don't know. Like I said, put it down there in the comments. We got this weird shieldy thing. I'm going to put that on, and now somebody's at my house. I have to see who this is. Could I have been this lucky? It's Rock Auto. I was a mailman. I love my mailman. Pretty cool guy. He's a car guy, too. So, maybe this is my brake lines. I know it's not shocks. It is. Well, They're brake lines, but these are brake lines for the Falcon, because what else is this? Oh no, wait, here we go. Okay, so we got all 3 brake lines for the drum brakes for the Falcon. So I'm missing a wheel cylinder, so there it is. So yeah, once I get this thing back together and we get it tucked away, I'm gonna get the Falcon in here. If you just saw the video, like I said, we're gonna redo all the drum brakes, new master cylinder, lines, everything. New fuel system. I'm gonna get that one so it runs, moves, drives, gets out of my front yard. And we'll get that parked off to the side. So that'll probably be the next video. The video following is one everybody's been asking about, Ashley's 68 Mustang. Yes, it's coming in. It's the holiday season. We're all real busy, and it's hard to get Ashley to come up here and work. She does work a lot of hours. And, you know, we'll get her in here, but we're going to fix the window regulators on that, put some Dynamat in it, start working on the dash and stuff so we get that cleaned up, put the power steering gearbox in. So anyways, I digress. Back at this. So yeah, yay. So these parts fit. I'm leaving it till you guys tell me something else. We're going with that. And like I said, we got the new bolts. They're keepers for the caliper, and it looks like they already got like a red Loctite on them or something. So get these in here. 2 little nuts that hold the bottom of this shield on. Once again, what is this shield for? I mean, like I said, I'm just kind of asking you guys stuff. I definitely don't know everything. I'm just basically a trained monkey. But yeah, I mean, you can always learn more stuff from other people. All right, so I'm going to tighten these up, put the tie rod back on, and there we go. Installed disc brakes. I like it. And they're the actual legit parts that came in the car in 71. So it's a win-win for me. So anyways, that's about it. I got this side done. The other side's just rinse and repeat. No sense to film that and show you that. You'll see it later when it's sitting on the ground. I am still missing the shock and a brake line and a couple other little parts, but we'll get to that later. I'm kind of like shooting from the hip here, kind of doing this. I'd like to thank my buddy Bruce. My buddy Bruce is that one friend, everybody's got him. When you got a project car, it's like, when are you gonna get to that thing? He's my little Jiminy Cricket. He's been the guy pushing me to get this car finished. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just, I'm taking my time, I'm trying to do it right. You know, I mean, I'm getting to it. So thanks, Bruce. Look, progress. So this is getting a little long. I wanna thank you guys so much for watching. I'm probably gonna not have another video up by Christmas. So thank you and Merry Christmas, and thank you so much everybody that subscribed. I truly appreciate it from my heart. I mean, you guys have blown me away with your generosity, kind comments. I mean, this is great. Thank you, and we'll see you next year.